Oh man, it is a big football Friday night, a lot to do, so let's get right to it. The big schools are back. All right, some of them are. New Braunfels is back, and they made the trip to San Marcos tonight to take on the Rattlers. Rattlers will get on the board first with a little trickeration. Who has it? I don't know. There he is. That's Cannon Webb, and he is gone. Oh my goodness, is he fast or what? 69 yards on the play. They missed the extra point. 6-0 Rattlers. Unicorns would answer though. Riker Purdy getting into the end zone. Nicely done with a little help from the big fella. 7-6. Unicorns on the lead. Yeah, the Unicorn rolling by two. He's happy about that, and the Braunfels would score again. Quarterback Peyton Driggers to Trace Higginbotham. Makes it a 14-6 ball game. Unicorns, Rattlers though, looking to answer one more time. Tay Washington finds Kudos Ogubase. Yeah, but it's a fumble. Oh my goodness, and the Unicorns would recover. Elliot Hagelman, he's the man on the spot with the football. And there it is, New Braunfels late fourth quarter. It is a barn burner, 35-31. All right, the Steel Knights kicking things off tonight at home against Life Christian Academy, a team for Virginia. Long road trip, Steel Knights opening. Yeah, here they come. Early first quarter. Knights quarterback Wyatt Beagle. Look at him go. Oh, he's happy about it, and he should be, right? 24 yards for the touchdown, 7-0 Knights. Then let's quickly make that 14 nada. The handoff to Josh Farner. Yeah, he goes to the far side into the end zone from 17 yards out. 14-0 Steel. Yeah, Beagle though scrambling out of the pocket. Wants the deep sideline route, but look at this. A tip drill. Who's got it? Oh my goodness, it is intercepted. Oh my, how about that? Nice concentration there. Look at this. Oh, the D-line though is all over the quarterback Shane Hoover. But this is a good one. Life Christian, in fact, is taking the lead late fourth quarter, 20-14. How about those Clemens Buffaloes? They had to start out with the best. A trip to Austin Westlake and take on the defending champion Chaparrals. They might be there again because of this guy. Check him out. Zane Miner's going to play his college ball at Yale. Open the season down the sidelines. He is gone. 76-yard touchdown run. First points of the season for the Chaps. And boy, they would just continue on from there. The defense is pretty good too. How about this? Some pressure by their defense. Going to force a backwards pass from Max DiDomenico. Goes out of bounds. Guess what? That is a safety. Makes it 9-0. And boy, I tell you what, this one just went on and on and on and on. The Chaparrals, they are good, and they win this one by a score 53-7. Oh my goodness. Well, the champion Chargers had to call an audible tonight. They were scheduled to play in Victoria, but COVID changed those plans. At home tonight against Veterans Memorial. And they would look good. They were happy. They were home. How about Carson Kaiser? Yeah, he just takes it himself and finds some daylight. Into the end zone he goes. That is nice. 7-0 champion on top. But Kaiser, he can throw the football as well. In fact, he's going to throw it to Davis Pike. That's 11 yards. Nice catch, young man. Makes it a 14-0 ball game. And then Kaiser was not done. His arm was just warming up, in fact. He's going to find his other friend, Justin Egel. This one for 9 yards. It's a touchdown. 28-0. Chargers looking good in their opener. They blank Veterans Memorial 35-0.